It's really, really frosty. I've changed my mind. I don't want that. Ugh. Hi guys, so today I'm going to be doing this look for you, and I decided to do this kind of a look because my last couple of tutorials, there was my urban glam one that was very, very structured and very precise, and then there was my fresh spring one and that was very natural and very kind of simple. So I wanted to do something that was kind of the opposite of both of those. So this is really unstructured, kind of messy and quite dramatic, and it has a bit of a kind of a 70s boho chic vibe about it. And I've just realized that the colors are totally St. Patrick's Day colors. There's green, white and gold in this, so it could be kind of an alternative St. Patrick's Day makeup. So if you want to know how I created this shimmering, slightly messy 70s boho look, then keep watching. So today I'm going to start with my eyes. I'm not even going to do eyebrows first. I'm going to go straight into the eyes, and I'm going to prime them first with a paint pot by MAC, and this is Groundwork. So I'm just going to lightly buff that all over the eyelid and a little bit up onto my brow bone with a 217 brush. Groundwork makes a lovely eyeshadow just by itself, actually. If you just want something, you want a little bit of colour on the eyelid and you want something really fuss-free before work or something, it's very quick. And I'm going to take a bit of that on my lower lash line, just still on the same 217 brush. This look is going to be really smudgy and carefree, so I'm going to use a big brush down there because I don't care if it gets blended quite low down. Next, I'm going to line my eyes, and I'm going to line the whole way around my upper and lower waterline, and I'm using Minted by MAC, which is a really beautiful pencil, beautiful colour, beautiful texture. I never use it. Gonna get a good layer on there because I'm going to smudge it out in a second. Upper. So now the eyeliner's on, I'm going to go back into that 217 brush I used to apply Groundwork. And I'm just going to ever so slightly smudge that green out. So Minted is a Kohl pencil by MAC, which means they don't really set, they stay quite smudgy and quite soft. So they're not really the greatest pencils for lasting, but really in a look like this, I kind of don't care about that. The eyeshadows I'm going to use for today's look are going to be from the original Naked palette, which I have to say, I way prefer this to the Naked 3. So the first colour I'm going to use is Darkhorse. I'm sticking with that same 217 brush. Let's just try and keep the brushes to a minimum. I'm gonna push that into the crease. Holy moly, they weren't lying when they said Darkhorse. Just kind of keeping it to the crease for the most intense bit. And then when you've kind of taken a lot of the product off the brush, pull it out. You know what, I'm going to bring it up here as well. I quite like that look where the dark eyeshadow comes right up into the base of the eyebrow. I'm switching to a 224 brush, which is a little bit softer than a 217, and I'm going to go into Naked, which is the lightest matte kind of brown shade in the palette. And I'm going to dust that on the edge of Darkhorse just to help the blend up towards my eyebrow. I'm going to go back into Darkhorse again, the colour we've used in the crease, and this time I'm taking it on a much smaller brush. This is the MAC 231 brush. I'm just going to pat it into the outside corner of the eye there, and a little bit on this inside corner. And then take that to 17 again, just ever so slightly blend. Alright, next I'm going to go into Virgin, the very, very lightest colour, on a MAC 252 brush, and just pop that right underneath the eyebrow in that little tiny bit of space we have left, just to add a tiny bit of highlight there. I promise, guys, I promise it'll come together. It always does. Alright, for that little space that's left in the centre of the lid, I'm first going to go into Smog, which is the colour right next to Darkhorse. Similar kind of depth of colour, a little bit lighter, but with a lot more bronze. And just pack that on that middle part of the eyelid. I've just got a clean 217 to do that with. And then on the same 217 brush, I'm going to take Half Baked, which is the really bright bronze colour, and just pop that right in the middle again, so it gets really, really light and shiny in the middle of the eyelid. So for the lower lash line, I'm going to go into Half Baked again, but this time on a pencil brush, and blend that onto the inside corner of the lower lash line to really catch the light. And then into Darkhorse, onto the outside, and connect it to the top. I'm going to do my skin now and then go back and finish the eyes, and I'm telling you, once the skin is done, it's going to look a million times better. So on my skin today, I've actually already put on some Strobe Cream. I use that as my moisturizer today. And I'm not going to use foundation, I'm just going to use concealer, but I'm going to conceal quite a bit of my face, so it'll practically be like foundation. And the concealer is the MAC Mineralize concealer in NW20. So I'll pop that under my eyes first, and definitely on the nose area. And then we'll see how we go. I'll just use my Real Techniques contour brush to buff that in. And the powder today I'm using is my Essence All About Matte Powder, just really through the center of my face where I look a bit oily. And just on the same Real Techniques contour brush, just push it really well into the skin. I'm going to bronze my skin, and I'm going to do quite a bit of bronzer today actually. I want my skin to be really bronzy and sun-kissed. And today I'm using my Rouge Bunny Rouge at Goldcombe bronzer. Using a smaller brush than usual, my MAC 109. And I'm going to start by buffing that into the contour of my cheekbones first. And for my blush today, I'm using one of the MAC Mineralize blushes in Warm Soul, and this is really going to keep that bronzy kind of rose gold colour going on my cheeks. And those Mineralize blushes have quite a bit of a sheen in them, so they make your skin look really, really healthy and glowy. So I'm bringing that quite close to my nose, just because I'm going for that really sun-kissed look. And we'll bring a little bit of that onto just above the eyebrow, onto that kind of almost like the corners of your forehead, if that makes sense. I'm going to do my brows now just before I pop the mascara on, and today I'm using the Anastasia brow powder in the colour Caramel. For mascara, my Clump crusher. This look isn't really about the mascara, and I'm not going to do black liner along my top lashes either because it would just be a little bit too structured. And this look, I don't know if you can tell, but this look isn't particularly structured. Oh, hello. I want my lips to be a little bit more on the nude side for this look, so I'm first off going to coat them in a little bit of the Rimmel Apocalips in the colour Nude Eclipse. So a little bit of that on first. A little bit more. And then I'm going to go over the top with a little bit of a coloured gloss. This is one of the Australis lip glosses in the colour Disco. It smells so good. And I think the mixture of those two colours would be quite nice. And I am correct. That's delicious. So that's the finished look. And I know, guys, it's not going to be to everybody's taste. Some people prefer their makeup very precise and neat and professional looking. And this, I'm not really sure if that's any of those things, but I love it. I feel really, really sexy in this kind of makeup. It's really mussed up. It almost looks like it's been slept in, and it wears really well, this type of makeup. So if you are going to like a music festival or something where you're going to be like hot and sweaty, makeup like this wears really well. So I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. As I said, it's a little bit different to my last two ones. I like to keep a bit of variety in my videos and not kind of keep doing the same look over and over again. So I really hope you liked it, and if you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I'm putting out videos every Monday, Wednesday and Friday now, so if you subscribe you won't miss them. They'll just come straight into your YouTube feed. As per usual, if you have any requests or any ideas for a look you'd like me to create, or just something you'd like me to cover in a video, please let me know in the comments. I do read every single one of the comments, even though a lot of the times I don't get a chance to reply to them. Know that I am actually reading them. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you very soon. Bye! Hi guys, and welcome to my first ever Monday Minute. So in this series of videos, I'm going to try and give you a tip or trick about makeup or hair in 1 minute or less. Today, I'm going to show you a technique for applying your lipstick that's going to help it last all day.